Hey guys, welcome back to Unreal Development. We've had a couple of days off of Groenland, and we're going to continue by working on a little side project for something which will also come in handy for Groenland, and that is we want to do AI movement, but I shall explain when my card deck project starts up what we want to achieve. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to create an NPC that's going to wander about, but he's going to wander about in a very specific way, which is kind of random but not, right? So it's the task in the hand is to give the impression that our character isn't just walking in a straight line, basically. Okay, because under normal circumstances, if you're doing AI and doing a move to, then basically your character is going to move from A to B around the nav mesh. Now, if there's nothing in the way, then it's just basically he's going to do that all the time, right? He's going to walk in a straight line from A to B with zero variation, okay? Now, our task here is that we are going to add a little bit of variation, not too much, and we're going to do it in a way that's easy for us to program. So I'm going to create a new folder. We're going to call it NPC. We're going to create a blueprint class. It's going to be a character. We're going to say, BP NPC. Now, if we prototype this out and it all works fine, then we can use this as another tool in our arsenal, just like the cards, which this is the project we're working on, the cards, right? So we might end up with a project here that's a card deck. It started off as that, but we're going to have lots of little prototype parts that we might use in any other game, right? So obviously Groenland is not going to use cards, although the idea just actually did cross my mind after I was looking at doing that, but in a sort of mini game type way, right? But we're not going to look at that for now. So what we need is our NPC, and our NPC, we're just basically going to use the mannequin, right? Because that's going to give us our animation blueprint and all that good stuff. Hi, Miss Walk. Right, so we're going to make this, and it's going to be Manny. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, Torchlight Studio, right? It did cross my mind, right? But the point being that now that we've done a sort of card deck thing, we've done that work and we've got it in the bank, right? So if I was to do a card-like game or something that worked on that basis of like a deck of something, right? It doesn't need to be cards. It could be buttons. It could be, tokens, whatever. We've got those tools now in our toolkit. Okay, so that's kind of the point of doing these, and it's good to do them in this setting, right? Because if I'm setting these things up, you can see how I do it, and hopefully you maybe learn something. Maybe you don't, maybe you do. If you don't learn anything, then you might get a laugh. Right, so we set up our doofree-doof, our doofree guy, then we set up his ABP Manny. Right, so he's all set up for us, so that's cool. We don't need to muck about. Okay, so excellent, we're done. See you on the next one. Okay, pretty much what I do is building small prototypes or modules to each project. Yeah, it's just another tool for us. So now what we need is an AI controller. So blueprint, come down, all classes, AI controller, select that, then AIC, NPC, then artificial intelligence, behavior tree, BT, NPC. So we're going to be setting all of this up, right? So next part is Blackboard BB underscore NPC. So the easiest one to set up first is basically Blackboard, right? So all we're going to do in this case is we're going to set up a couple of vectors. So we're going to say random destination, and then we're going to add another one, and that's going to be final destination. Okay. Then we're going to set up one more thing, which is basically a behavioral state, right? So we're going to set up enum, and we're going to say destination, right? And then we'll open that, we'll add to, we'll say random, and we'll say final. This is going to control our behavior tree, okay, to whether or not we're going to the random destination, or we've ran out of random destinations and we are going to the final destination. Right, so let me explain what we're actually going to try and do, right? So what we'll do is we're probably going to have to make this map bigger, right? But in the meantime, we'll just get rid of some of these things, and then we'll use two of them as an example to show you practically how this is going to work. Okay, so let's say this dude here is, excuse me a second. Okay, we're back. I've just got to do one thing. I've got to send my wife my email address. I've got tax purposes going on at the moment, so I'm going to have to do that. Just give me 2 seconds. We'll have that done in a jiffy. Okay, that's it done. Right, so I'm going to move the camera so we can do this in a... Right. Let's look at this. And I'll explain what we're going to do. Right, we need a bit of space between them. Okay, here we go. Right. So this cylinder is our NPC, okay? And this cylinder is the destination of the NPC, okay? The final destination. Now, if I were just to basically set up this as the final destination, then our NPC is going to basically go right? It's going to go in a straight line. It's going to do that. And then the next time you spawn it, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to go and across the blue, right? Now, if we put it here, it's obviously not going to go What it's going to do is going to go and do the same thing, right? So it's just going to basically go in a straight line. Now, it doesn't even matter if we put it over here, right? Because all it's going to do is it's going to go around here, straight across, okay? And if we put it back, it's just going to do the same thing again, right? So it's never going to change. So what we actually want it to do, and here is my theory. Here's what we're going to do. Now, I think, well, it's not very clever, but it's a practical solution, right? Where we don't need any mathematical genius to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to get it to say, I've got a maximum range of, let's say this was 200, okay? Radius of 200. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get that number and we're going to find a value that's closer, right? So it's going to pick a random spot on the nav mesh in a radius of 200 that's closer than the current position and move to that. So that might be here. Then we're going to get it basically to do it again, and it might be here. Then we're going to get it to do it again, and it might be there. Then 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 it might be there. And then when we get within a certain distance, we'll change the state so that it knows that it's now making directly for the final destination. And it'll just go, right? That's the plan. Okay. So you can tell me, guys, in the chat if you think that is a good plan or if it's a rubbish plan. But that's what we're going to do. So let's do that then, shall we? So this is why we set up the random destination and the final destination, right? And what we need to do now is add one more key, and it's going to be the enum, because we're going to have to be checking on the enum, and we'll call it edestination. Okay, we'll open that, and it is edestination, believe it or not. So we're going to save that. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open our blueprint behavior tree. Okay, it has automatically set up our blackboard for us. So that's all cool. So far, everything's brilliant. Life is great. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to get this vector. Okay. Just for testing purposes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this vector. Okay. And we're going to set up our AI controller first, and we'll set that up with that vector. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, don't need to tick. What we're going to do is there's always put a little delay in here, right, to give it the parent a chance to run its begin play, so that everything is set up properly. Right, then we're going to get control pawn, right, and we know that it's the BP NPC, so we're going to say cast to BP NPC. We're probably not going to need this yet, right, but whatever, we've done it now. So if we're getting any values from the NPC, we've got our reference to it. So the next thing we're going to do is say get blackboard, if I can manage to spell it. Okay, and we forgot to do one thing, which is to run the behavior tree. And we're not plugging anything in there. Don't know what I'm doing that for. Right, now we could use EQS and stuff, right, but we're not going to do that. Basically because I can't remember how to do it. And to be quite honest, it wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, but the problem is, Mike, that we're actually in an AI controller, right? And we're not using it anyway. So there's not much point in it in interface at this point. But anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to set vector and damn it. Right, we're just going to put this in as a thing right now. We're just going to put this in as a set of hard values, but obviously that's not what we'd normally do. But for the purposes of this simple demonstration, we shall do that. And we're going to make a literal string. No worries, I kind of got that idea that you jumped in just at the wrong point. No worries at all. Right, so we know that we want random. No, this is final destination, right? we can all make our little joke about movies at this point, if you like. Right, so we're all good. NPC's looking good. That's all we really need to do at this point. If we need to do any more, we can. We've got our cast if we need it, which we don't. Right, so we're going to go in here. No, we're not. We're going to go in here, our NPC again. And we're going to say AI controller, which isn't there. It's in here. And we're going to say AI NPC. And I need to find it again, because we've got to say that it's either spawned or placed in world. I can never, it's kind of at the top, isn't it, in Unreal Engine 4.27? Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do, Mike. I mean, when you think about it, it's not that much different for actually just possessing a different pawn that's set up with a different controller, with different AI controller and different behavior tree, which would actually end up having pretty much the same effect. Right, let's type AI. Placed in world. See, we want placed in world or spawned. Right. So that's all cool. Right. And we're going to minimize that just now. We're going to drag in our BP NPC. Then we're going to go to our behavior tree. Then we're going to set up a basic movement. So we're going to do selector, sequence, and we're just going to do, in the first instance, we're just going to do a straight up move to and we're going to do final. You're fine, Mike. It's just, as I said, there's, see, one of the things about Unreal Engine is there's a million ways to do a million things. You know, as I said, it's like, what you're saying is correct. But there's other ways of doing it as well, you know. It's just, there's so many options you've got in Unreal Engine, it's pretty much crazy. Right. So, in theory, right, now, I know what's wrong. Bonus points, guys, for telling me what's wrong. If you get it before I actually fix it. We have got an animation blueprint. Well, that kind of makes me look a bit stupid, because I thought I hadn't set this. But we are going to have a look at it to see that it's actually well, that's kind of bollocks. It's just their velocity. Ah, bollocks. Right, maybe we should actually check to see what the problem is rather than jump to a conclusion. Right, we have got the final destination, which is really all we're looking for. Right, now the fact that this is kind of jumping is the problem, which tells us that we've got an issue. Right, so we know this is right because it's setting up the right thing. I'm going to have missed out. I'm going to have missed the most obvious stupid thing, haven't I? That's the problem here. I've been going through this so fast, I've going to have buggered it up. Let's have a look, shall we? Character movement. That seems okay. Not that I think that's a problem, but it can... Ah, I know what it is. I'm an idiot. I think I know what it is. Right. What it is there's no nav mesh. Yeah. There's no nav mesh. It's the most bloody obvious thing. Except there is. Except... Oh. We're wrong. There is a nav mesh. How's about that? Although, having said that, is it just me or is that nav mesh? Why is it? He did move. No, he's not. We should see him running across there. He's not moving. Right. Yeah. Well, I did that, but it's kind of weird. Why is that plane kind of in the wrong place? You know what I'm going to do? It's not... it has got it, right? We're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. And then we're going to re-add it in. I was doing something the other night, and literally it was a bone transform, right? And I had set it up before and I was setting it up again, and it just wouldn't. It was just like one of the bones was like 90 degrees out, right? And no matter what I did, it just wouldn't work. Right, I had exactly the same settings as one that did work, and I couldn't get it to work. And then, knowing Unreal Engine, I just went, just delete the damn thing, and then just redo it. And guess what? It started working immediately with the exact same settings that we had before. So yeah, it's one of them things. So we'll do 50, and that's probably going to be massive, yeah, 50. And then we're going to do P. That looks alright to me. Apart from the fact that where's the goddamn colour? Right, but this is still not right. Right, move to final destination. This is set to something other than what it is. Right, now here's the thing. What we could do is we could move directly toward instead. Yeah, it was a weird one, but it's nonetheless infuriating. Right. There's something not right here. There is something not right. Right, it's not like he's through the floor or anything. Right, animation, use that. Right, that's all okay. Right, these are all default. There's no need to do anything here. The only thing I could think of is maybe the this is weird, isn't it? You know, you do this stuff and you think it's all going to work fine, and then it doesn't. Proving me a blooming liar. Right, we're going to go for the nuclear option, because that's what we do here. We're going to create an animation blueprint, because this is an issue I've had before where the animation blueprint's not quite right. And which one is it? Is it this one or is it this one? Right, so we're going to say ABP NPC. We're just going to set this up as basic as we can. Right, so state Sheen and there, and here, and here. Add a state, idle run, go here, unarmed walk run, that'll do. That's stupid. So we'll do that. Don't do that. Right. Wait a minute. It's the wrong one. Right. Okay. Variable speed float. I'm just going to go in there. Then compile that. Event graph. We'll just do this the simple way, right? Velocity. Length. Speed. Do is valid. And there. And there. Compile that. Right. And now what we need to do is go to our NPC. NPC, compile, and go. Riddle me this. Why is this not sodden working? I've got a horrible feeling that this, because it's Unreal Engine 5, is some kind of new setup. Although I don't think so. Alright, let's save that. I'm going to run this again. Right, it is Final Destination. Right. Now, if we look at our AVP NPC, add a breakpoint. Right, this is never valid. Right, so either it's not that. Oh, right. What? God damn it. Not even looking at the right thing here. Anim NPC. Right, this is the thing that bugs the crap out of me. And I know why it is, right? It's just because it's in Unreal Engine, as far as I can determine up until now, is really inconsistent on how it determines what this is. Right? So what I'm going to do is, apart from lose my shit, I'm going to set up a variable, right? And I'm going to call it pawn. Now this is what I'd normally do anyway, but because I don't want it to try and get the pawn all the time, I want to actually tell it what the pawn is, right? So that I'm not flapping around. So this is going to be BP underscore NPC, right? Voila. And what we're going to do is we're going to create an event, and we're going to call it set pawn. Right, so we're going to add a custom event, and we're going to say set pawn. Then in our here we're going to call it add an input, right? And we're going to call it, believe it or not, pawn, right? And it's going to be BP underscore NPC, right? And then we're going to set the pawn. Right, so we're going to go in there, we're going to do that, then we're going to do that, then we're going to do that, then we're going to get the pawn, we're going to do that, right, and then we're going to go to our blueprint, event graph, on begin play only, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to grab our mesh, we're going to get an instance, then we're going to cast to ABP NPC, right? And then we're going to say set pawn, and then we're going to get a self, reference to self, right? Compile that and run. All right. Where's hi Kai, it's Chips. So what the hell's going on here? Right. Something we've done 100 times just decides not to work anymore. Oh, we're not going to work today. Today's a Friday. We're not going to work. Let's try that again. Right, oh, so you're going to do that, are you? Well, thank you. What about this? You got something for me? Right, you're a mesh. You're an instance. ABP NPC. Right? Let's see if you can manage to cast. You did, right? ABP NPC will step into. Right, you're a pawn. See pawn, pawn. You see? See pawn, pawn. Right, you're a pawn. Everyone's a pawn. So now pawn is pawn. right? So this is now not nothing. So it better not be giving me its crap about it being nothing, right? Oh, are you going to work now, are you? Unknown. How can you be unknown? I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for a second, right? Because sometimes it does actually take a second to register. Right, we wanted to break there. Huh? What? How can it go in here and then this be nothing? Answers on a postcard, guys. I'm confused. BP NPC. Right? This is a BP NPC. We clearly saw it going in there. Right? Okay. Okay. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, right? I'm going to say, okay, you just weren't ready yet for me to do that, so I'm going to stick a delay on this. Isn't it great, Mike, when people come into the come in late, don't see that I've already casted it? Oh, yeah. I'm an idiot. No, I'm not an idiot. This is where you end up questioning yourself. It's just one of them things, so Sunburst, that's can be quirky, right? It can be a little quirky person sometimes, right? So we're casting the ANPC, right? This is our self, which is a BP pawn, a BP NPC, which is exactly what it's looking for, right? So there's our set pawn. There is our step into, right? So we're setting the pawn here, okay? Answers on a postcard here if anybody sees anything weird, right? So we've got our NPC pawn, right? It's a pawn. Right, so this is now set. Right, we're all agreed on that. But pawn, nothing. Pawn is nothing. How in the hell is that? No, you've. It's just the fact that somebody did the same thing earlier. They jumped in and basically said the same thing and didn't realise that I'd already done it. Right, so I'm confused. If anybody else isn't confused out there, then let me know and tell me why you're not confused. Because I'm confused. Because it clearly sets this pawn, right? But the pawn is nothing. Don't ask me why. Right, which is why it's not moving, because the speed is nothing. That's why it's not moving. No, it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. Don't worry, mate. Right. Now, see here, right? Like, well, that's not going to work. Right, but what we could do, right, just for a laugh, because we're kind of mental, right, is we could do this, right, and just set our speed to 50, right? And if this is going to prove the point of where the problem lies, okay? Okay. Apparently that's not the problem. Apparently I've just suddenly forgot how to program. There's something stupid I've not done here. Right? It's as simple as that. There's something really stupid I've not done. Now, it doesn't explain the fact of this NPC being nothing. Right? And this is all working fine. Right. I'm kind of at a loss here. Right, so this is all fine. It's setting the pawn, but it's not setting the pawn. Right? I'm going to do something here. I'm going to close this down and I'm going to open it back up. No, I've tried 2 different animation blueprints, Mr. Spock. Originally I did think it was something to do with the animation blueprint, but it's not. It could be that. But it's nothing's looking right here, right? That's what I'm saying. Right? It's setting the pawn in the animation blueprint, but it's saying the pawn equals nothing, even though you can see it setting it, right? Now, I had this problem the other night and I can't remember for the life of me. It was something to do with blend space and stuff, but it was a slightly different problem, right? Because the reason I had to do a blend space and stuff was because if I didn't do the blend space, then I couldn't do a state machine, and you had to use the state machine to set up the pose to then rotate a bone. So it was a totally different issue, but the symptoms here are the same. Right, it was just a totally different issue, but the symptoms are the same, which is probably throwing me off at this point, right? But there might be something in what you've said, but it still doesn't make any sense. Thinking about it, right? Right. Let's have a look. I'll probably press play and this will work, and then I'll be really upset. Well, I won't be that upset, but I'll probably actually be happy because it's worked. Right. Right. We're just going to have a laugh here and laugh at what should be working and what isn't working here, right? Because hopefully this will prove a point, or it will actually prove me kinda wrong. So it better not do that, right? If we set the speed to 0, okay? And compile it. In theory, she should be idle. Okay? She should be just standing there. But she isn't. So that doesn't make any sense. Okay? Now, the next thing to check here would be if we are idle, right? Say we didn't do that and we did this instead. Right? Press play. Excuse me. Alright, so we're going to take these breakpoints off. Mr. Spock, I appreciate your help, right? But yeah, I've got all that. Right? The point was that we're using the starter pack content. So we're using the idle to walk to run there. Okay? So yeah, we were. Which is why I didn't create a blend space, because there's already blend spaces created. So it kind of appears to me that it's something to do with the it's something to do with the AI. It's got to be something to do with the AI, right? Because you could create right, what I can do here is, right, I can create a blueprint, right? Just make it an actor, right? And we can call it BP move, right? Then we can just add a static mesh. We can add anything, right? So, right, say we pick a cone, right? So we've got a cone, right? Now, in theory, we don't need any animation, right? All we need is basically an AI controller on it, right? Don't know why it isn't doing that. Right? That's the actor. Where's the AI crap? Don't think it's in here. Ah, yeah, okay. We're going to reparent this because we need movement anyway, right? So reparent this, right? And we'll parent it to a char character, right? And that's it. Right, we're not going to use a blueprint because we've not got any. We don't really even need this. Right, so we've got our mesh, which isn't a mesh at all because we've got a static mesh, which is fine, right? So all we actually need is our AI. So I suppose this is going to tell us if we've screwed up or not, right? Because this is AIC NPC, placed in world or spawned, right? We don't, as I said, we don't need any kind of animation or anything for this. Yes, the pawn should move, the cone should move, right? Because all we're doing is moving it from A to B, right? From here to here. That's it. We don't need it, just because it's a character doesn't really matter, right? Because we're not going to use a character, right? As in, we're using a character class, but we're not using a character with animations or a model or anything like that, right? But in theory, this should just move, okay? So to save any confusion, we'll just remove that for now and check it, right? So if this moves, then it's something to do with the model and the animation blueprint and stuff, or the mesh and all that stuff, right? But that's not moving either. Right, so that's now really bizarre. Instead of being really, really bizarre, it's just now really bizarre. Right, I'm going to have to start this again with this open. That's not running. Right, am I just talking myself? Am I just getting myself flustered? No, it shouldn't matter, Mr. Spock, shouldn't matter. Right, but the problem is this isn't running. Right? This is not moving. Right, guys, this is just bizarre. Right? So if we do AI NPC, right, we open this. Ah, by the way guys, I've got a horrible feeling here about something. I've got a horrible feeling that when we go along here, I haven't put a behaviour tree in. No, it is there. Right, in this case, we're going to have to cast it. We're going to have to cast to move. Right, so that explains that one, right? And I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm getting flustered. So we're going to do that, but we're going to, yeah, we're going to do that, that's fine. Right. Right, so that was never going to move until I did that, right? So we're going to have to test this again. And it's still doing that. Now there's something else going on here. There's something weird going on. This doesn't make any sense, right? I'm going to do that. And then we'll have to take that out. Now, that's not the way it should be, but we're just getting desperate now, which is not the way to do it, but... Nah, it's not hard, it's just I did it so fast that I didn't take my time. I've missed some stupid thing. I think. No, it's not that either. Right, I'm going to go and grab a cigarette and have a think about this. And then I'll probably fix it in 2 minutes when I come back. Because I've settled down and took a step back for it. This is it, guys. See when you get a problem like this, right? Now, I know you guys are trying to help, but me reading the text and you basically saying things that either A, I've obviously tried, or B, aren't really going to work, right? And I do appreciate that I'm not getting on you for that, but it just piles on top of you, and you need to just take a step back for a minute. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and grab a cigarette. We're going to have a think about it, and we'll sort it out when we come back. Right? We'll probably open Groenland, where I was basically doing this in a very simple, but surprisingly similar way. Right? And we'll see if we've missed anything silly. Yeah. As I said, Torchlight, it's some little box that I've forgot to tick. Or as you said, a pin that I've not connected, even though I don't think that's the case. It's going to be something stupid, right? Back in a minute. Okay, we're back. You see, I got so distracted, I never turned off my mic and I never put up the be right back screen, right? So I know this is right, because basically it is. Right, and this is just bollocks. Now, what I would say is, I'm going to add a selector in here, right? I'm going to add a decorator, and it's going to be blackboard, right? I'm just going to, I don't think this is it, right? But I'm going to try it. Right, and it's going to be destination, right? And is equal to final. Okay? We'll just try this. But this ain't it. Right? This ain't it. So if that's the case, we have to go into our AIC. Right? And we do need to get blackboard again, and we need to set enum. Right, we'll just plug this in there because we're getting to the I don't care, it's messy, there's a stupid thing getting done here. Right, and we're going to make a literal name, which is actually going to be this. No, it's not. Spiraling out of control here. So we make literal name, and it's destination. And when this doesn't work, we're going to save it and open up. Make literal. It's not that. Destination. Right, and we say final. Right, this better not work, because I'm going to say in advance this isn't going to work, right? Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Okay. You beat me for now because of the stream. So we're going to open up Groenland and do the exact same thing, and I'm going to show you that it's basically the exact same code, right? The exact same behavior tree. And then I'm going to get upset when it works. And I don't know why that other one isn't working. Right. No thanks. UK. better not do a massive shader stuff. Right. Okay, so now I won't be able to remember where I've put these. Right. But what I did was I made these mission NPCs, right? Which basically this is the AI, right? Nothing. So here we have the controller. So we'll open that up. Okay. So you'll see here, we've got our begin play, we've got our delay, we've got our control pawn, right? Then we run the behavior tree, then we set our stuff, and that's it, right? So in reality, this is no different to exactly what we had in our other project. It is exactly the same, okay? The only difference is we're using one of the variables out of here, a couple of the variables in here to fill up our blackboard. Okay, it's the only difference. As I said, logically is exactly the same. So there's nothing in here that is weird or funky. Wait a minute. Right, okay. You'll notice here though, make sure there's path following and actions, right? Did anybody notice if those were available? I've been doing Unreal Engine for about between 3 and 4 years, right? Now, as I said, the interesting thing is this is our AI controller. Now, did we have these? Now, I'm pretty sure these are default, right? I'm mostly interested in the path following shit. But I'm just wondering, did anybody notice in the chat if in our other project I had the path following? Now, I'm sure it did. And I'm just getting to, what do you call it? Conspiracy theory now, right? That I'm beginning to see things that I'm not seeing, or not seeing things that I am seeing, right? But anyway, so if you look in here, there's nothing to this. It just goes to a sequence move to, right? So the important thing here is the move to, which is exactly the same. There's nothing. This is just the selector, right? So remember, in our other one, Well, your problem is that you're using C++ because all you're doing is making your job twice as hard for yourself, right? You're better just learning blueprints, and then basically once you're confident with blueprints and how Unreal Engine works, then you can worry about C++, right? So you're just giving yourself double the headache, right? Which is why you'll make half the progress on Unreal Engine and half the progress on C++. So if you remember rightly, right, we had our root, our selector, our sequence, and then our move to, right? So again, logically, our behavior tree is exactly the same, right? It's not doing anything. Okay, it's doing a couple of things, but they're not like earth-shatteringly complicated. Right, if I was to take this out, right, we'd be left with our move to. If I took out the conditions, we'd be left with our selector, right? So we'd have root, selector, sequence, and move to, right? So that function logically is exactly the same as what we had, right? We had root, selector, sequence, move to. That's it. That's all we had. Right? Now in our AIC, right, our controller, there's nothing here either that is what I can tell any different. Right? Because I never touch any of these, really. And they're all just basically default. So that kind of doesn't make any sense. Right? If we go back to our mission NPC, these are just data. Don't get confused now. The things next to it are just the same things. These are just structs and data tables. Don't worry about them. These are nothing. These are not even used at this point, right? Now we can dismiss the animation blueprint because our move to component that we made in the other one doesn't use any kind of animation, right? So the only real thing is it's got its character movement, right? And in the pawn we should have the settings for the AI, wherever that is. Right. Right, where's the pawn? Go on, pawn. I want to find out where this actually is, right? It's actually quite near the bottom, right? So we've got disabled, tick there, that doesn't matter, that would just mean it would like maybe do a weird thing in the movement, but it would still work. Placed in world, and then we've got our mission NPC, our AI controller, right? So that was exactly what we expected. There's nothing weird or different about it, absolutely zero, right? If we go to our event begin play, right, we get our animation instance, and that's what we're doing with the other one, right? And notice we're setting the pawn, right? This is exactly the same code. Exactly. That's why I'm so bamboozled that it isn't working, right? So when we look in here, this is going to be the animation blueprint, right? We set the pawn. Right, now with this one we're trying to get the pawn, but the theory is the same. Okay? So yeah, it's like, what's going on? But as I said, for that other project, we're not doing anything different. I don't get it. The only thing it can be is something to do with that navigation volume, right? That's the only thing I can think of. But as you see, we took it out and we put it back in again, and it still wasn't working, right? So that's why I am absolutely flummoxed. So I'm going to have a drink in my pineapple, because that will solve the problems of the world. Right. So where, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something else. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to do new level, right? And we're going to do basic, create, right? So there is our world. Okay, isn't it beautiful? Right, so it's a beautiful thing, right? And we're going to put our cube here, or cone even, right? Then we're going to open up our cone, and it's a character, which is okay. And we know that the pawn is about here-ish. Right? Okay. Where are you, pawn? Here it's here. Placed in world or spawned AIC NPC. Right, so we're calling that good. I'm going to go into my AIC BPC, and there it's got the path following and the actions. As I said, I'm not surprised that that's exactly the same, because we set it up exactly the same. Okay, we're doing this, we're not doing that. Right, we're setting the backboard, which we know is fine anyway, right? So what we'll do is we'll press play. No, we'll not. No, we'll not. We're not going to press play. We're going to add nav. Okay, we're not going to add it like that. Right. Volumes. Right, that one. Right. What's it doing away over there? Right, so we're going to say 25. Okay, we're not going to say 25, we're going to say 40. We're going to say 40. Then we're going to say 25. Right, now there's no arguing that our nav mesh is definitely covering that ground. So if I press P, voila, look at that. Look at that. That's not what it looked like in the other one. Yeah? It's not look like, didn't look like that in the other one. So, let's press play. Okay. You're going to do that, are you? Is that how it is? You're going to do that? You're going to do that, are you? Okay. Not getting upset. Everything's cool. So, right. No, it's getting less cool because I keep pressing the wrong buttons. We want a player start. Right, there you go, player start. Everything's cool. Not worried. Okay. Play. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look. Come on, come on. Run, run. See, run. If you saw that there, guys, it moved. Right? It moved. It did. You're not going to convince me otherwise, right? Where is our cone? There it is, right? So our cone has moved. So it was the frickin' nav mesh all along. Right, now if you were watching, you actually saw the cube move past, right? If you were paying attention, which obviously I wasn't, right? Where's our player start? What's it doing away up there? Right, now we'll see it. Now we'll see it. Right, play. Right. There it goes. Cube. Cubey boy. Coney boy even. Right. So there you go. I'm an idiot. Right? But we knew that, so you've not really learned anything today, really. So, yeah, there's that. Right, we're not going to save. We are... Actually, I don't even know where the bloody thing is. Right, what I'm going to do is... We're just not going to save that level, and I'm just going to open it again, so it'll open me back up in the original level, because I don't know where the original level was. Right, because I just don't. Right, so where was I? Don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Right, so that was on a good, what, hour and 20 minutes wasted? Well, actually not, because I had to build all this stuff, but all that time trying to bug fix a thing that wasn't actually a problem, apart from the fact that we couldn't see where the nav mesh bounds were. Right, so obviously our nav mesh is in the wrong place. right? Or something. Nav. Bounds volume. Right. Oh, you're going to draw yourself in now. I don't know how that was won, by the way. Don't know how that was won, right? Because we definitely didn't. I mean, we never had it looking like this, right? But that's not my fault, right? Because there was a nav mesh in this to start with, and it should have been working in the first place. So, yeah, it ain't getting any sympathy from me. May as well just fix that a bit, eh? Right. Some people in the chat have said to me at this points like these, right? Is I'm so patient, right? Like these type of issues, people are usually losing their crap, right? Whereas I don't. And it's because I've been using Unreal Engine for 3 to 4 years, and I'm that used to this happening that some unknown thing happens or moves or something, and then everything stops working and it's just a total nightmare. I'm just so used to it that it doesn't bother me anymore. It doesn't bother me anymore, right? I'm just like, okay, I know you're going to do stupid shit, right? You've got a history of doing it, like 3.5 years. Right, so basically, cool. You can basically go away now, right? And we can set her back up, probably. Don't know if she's going to work out the box, but we'll soon find out. She probably won't, but that's because we've buggered about with it so much. Yeah, if you remember rightly, we buggered about with this, right? So we're not getting any speed, right? So what we really need to do is that, and then that, and then compile it. And we might, believe it or not, we might actually get to do 10 minutes of what we were supposed to be doing in the first place. Instead of bug fixing. Although that doesn't look too good. Right. So now we're going to have to sort her out. Right, got AI to NPC, right, we'll need to check this. Nah, it's called stupid crap, is what it's called. Right, that's okay. Might work now. Hopefully not too many more things to put back in. There she goes. Right. Obviously it's not quite working right because I don't know what because of at the moment. Right, let's do that. Let's not do that. Let's do that. Animation, animation, that's fine. right? But our blueprint move to, that should be okay. Right, so why she did what she did, I don't know. Right, but she didn't use the right. I'll tell you what we'll do. Right, we'll go into here and we'll use Manny. No, it kind of just jumped across. It didn't use the animation. It was just like weird. Or maybe I'm just seeing things now. I'll become delusional now or something. See how it's just sliding along? So it's not using the animation. If it's not one thing, it's something else. Okay. Right. I'm going to leave it there. I'm kind of sick of it. Right. So we've had fun getting nowhere. Well, we did get it working because it is moving towards the right thing. Right. So we're going to give it that much. Right. This, we're not using it anymore. And I do believe, right, we're going to try one more thing, guys, right? Because if I remember right, this in here is the wrong one. It should be this one, right? So well, she moves. You know, she moves. Right. Okay. We're going to do something crazy. I'm going to delete that. Right. And I'm going to create my own freaking blend space. Right. And I'm going to get her to walk if it's the last thing I'll bloody do. Right. It might be the wrong mannequin as well. We're going to go with that. It's actually not better than nothing, right? I'm actually doing this for another little project, and I've got the basic stuff working. So all I actually needed to do was the movement stuff, right? But I thought I would get this built up quick. I don't. Right. I think I know what it is actually. I think that this is the female, right? And I think we were using the male stuff, and it might make a difference. I'm not 100% sure, right? But we're going to do speed.
right? And then we're going to do walk. So, is this the, right, wait a minute. Is this the guy or is this the woman? This is the guy, right? Idle. Right, and next we've got walk, so that's in place. Right, and then we'll do run. Right, and we'll use that. We'll set that up there. Right, and then we'll go to NPC. And it's this one. And this one. Yeah. Right. Okay, let's now get upset. Right, if you've enjoyed that absolute disaster, like and subscribe, hit like and subscribe. Can't even talk now, it's all falling apart. Right. I'll be back later, probably 8 p.m. Central. Check out the description for various links you can click on if you're interested, and I shall see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now.